The courthouse steps were slick with December rain. I wore a coat from Goodwill and shoes with a broken zipper. My sister walked past me in a cashmere wrap and sunglasses like she was avoiding paparazzi. She wasn't. There were no cameras. Just me and her, and 30 years of my money she called a gift. The bailiff called my name. Then hers. Then the judge asked a simple question. Did you, or did you not promise to repay your sister $400,000? My sister took off her sunglasses. She looked at me like I was a stain on her new boots. I never promised anything, she said. You gave it freely. You were obsessed with me. That word, obsessed. I remembered holding her hand at our father's funeral. I remembered co-signing her first apartment. I remembered working double shifts while she went to business school. Obsessed? No. I was faithful. And there is a difference. My name is Diane. I am 62 years old. I grew up in a small coal mining town in Yorkshire, England. Our house had 1 bathroom and 5 people. My father worked in the pit until his lungs gave out. My mother sewed dresses for rich ladies in Leeds. I was the oldest of 3 girls. My middle sister was named Patricia. Patsy to everyone who loved her. Patsy was born hungry. Not for food, for more. More attention, more praise, more things. At 7, she stole a bracelet from a department store. At 12, she told her class we had a summer house in France. We had never left England. At 16, she announced she would be a businesswoman. A real one, with an office and a secretary and a company car. I believed in her. That was my first mistake. I left school at 18. I worked at a biscuit factory for 7 years. Then a nursing home for 12. Then a hotel laundry for 8. I never married. I never had children. I did not want those things. I wanted to help Patsy. Because Patsy was going to do something big. Something that would make our father's broken lungs mean something. She went to university on a partial scholarship. I paid the rest. 3 years. £12,000. I paid it in cash every term. Envelopes of notes that smelled like my uniform. I would hand them to her at the train station. She would kiss my cheek and run to the platform. She never looked back. After university, she wanted to start a business. A boutique fitness studio. This was the early 2000s, when fitness was becoming a status symbol. She needed £20,000 for the down payment. I gave it to her. Every penny from my savings account. The account I had been building since I was 19. Patsy opened the studio. It failed in 9 months. She blamed the location, the economy, her business partner, the weather. She did not blame herself. I did not blame her either. I just worked more hours. I took a second job cleaning offices at night. I was 47 years old, and I could not remember the last time I had a day off. Then came the big one. The real money. In 2008, Patsy had an idea. Real estate. She said property prices were down. Everyone was scared. That was the time to buy. She needed £100,000 for down payment on 3 small flats in Manchester. She promised to pay me back in 5 years with interest. She wrote it on a napkin at a pub. I still have that napkin. It is the only proof I ever had. I did not have £100,000, but I had a house. Our parents' house. The brick row house where we grew up. My mother had left it to me, and me alone, because she knew Patsy would sell it for a handbag. I took a mortgage on that house. A reverse mortgage that old people take when they are desperate. I gave the money to Patsy. All of it. £100,000. She bought the flats. She renovated them. She rented them out. Within 3 years, she had 6 flats. Then 12. Then a whole building. She became a landlord. A real one. With an office and a secretary and a company car. Just like she promised at 16. I never asked for the money back, not once. Because I believed in her timeline. 5 years became 10. 10 became 15. I kept working. My back gave out. My knees gave out. I stopped cleaning offices. I stopped working at the hotel. I lived on a small pension and the kindness of neighbors. Patsy bought a house in Cheshire. A mansion with a gate and a gardener. She married a man named Simon, who sold luxury cars. She had 2 children. She posted photos of holidays in Barbados and St. Tropez. I watched from my rented room in a shared house in Bradford. My room was 8 feet by 10 feet. I had a single bed, a hot plate, and a view of a brick wall. I did not resent her then. I was proud. I told myself my suffering had meaning. She was successful because of me. That was enough. That was always enough. Until it wasn't. The trigger came when I got sick. Nothing dramatic. A bad hip. The doctor said I needed surgery. 16,000 pounds. I did not have it. I had never asked Patsy for anything. Not a birthday gift, not a Christmas card, not a visit. But this was different. This was my body. My ability to walk. I called her on a Tuesday afternoon. She answered on the 4th ring. Her voice was distracted. She was probably checking emails or signing documents or planning her next holiday. I told her about the surgery. I told her I needed help. There was a long silence. Then she said, "Diane, I can't just give you 16,000 pounds. That's not how money works." I said, "I'm not asking you to give it. I'm asking you to repay some of what I lent you." What I lent you. She laughed. A small dry laugh. "You didn't lend me anything. You gifted me that money. You were my sister. You wanted to help." I felt cold. "Patsy, I have the napkin. You wrote it yourself. 5 years with interest." She sighed. "That napkin isn't a contract, Diane. That was a sister being nice to another sister. You can't come after me now because you made bad choices." Bad choices. I had worked 60-hour weeks for 30 years. I had mortgaged my dead mother's house. I had given up marriage, children, holidays, sleep. And she called it bad choices. I asked one more time. "Please, Patsy. I need this surgery. I can't walk." She said, "I'll send you 500 pounds. As a gift. But that's it. Don't call me about money again." She sent 500 pounds. I used it to pay rent. I did not get the surgery. I walked with a cane for 2 years. That cane is still in my closet. I keep it to remember. The pressure came in waves. Small waves at first. Then bigger. Then a flood. First, my landlord raised my rent. I could not afford it. I moved to a smaller room in a worse neighborhood. The walls had mold. The toilet ran all night. I slept on a mattress on the floor. Second, my sister stopped returning my calls. Not just about money. About anything. I called to ask about her children. No answer. I called to say our cousin died. No answer. I called on Christmas Day. Her husband Simon answered. He said, "Patsy is busy. She'll call you later." She never did. Third, I started seeing her interviews. Business magazines. Property podcasts. Women in finance panels. She told her story over and over. I started from nothing, she said. No family money. No connections. Just hard work and a good eye for property. Hard work. I wanted to scream at the screen. "You have never worked a day of manual labor in your life, Patricia." I worked. I did your hard work. I just didn't get your name on the building. Fourth, her lawyers sent me a letter. A cease and desist. She had heard through family gossip that I was telling people about the loan. About the napkin. About the money. The letter said any public statements about Patsy's business dealings would be met with legal action for defamation. Defamation. She was threatening to sue me for telling the truth. I sat on my moldy mattress and read that letter 3 times. Then I folded it neatly and put it under my pillow. I did not sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling and counted the cracks. There were 47. I know because I counted them twice. I realized something that night. Patsy was not going to help me. Not because she couldn't. Because she had decided that my existence was a threat to her story. Her self-made story. Her I did it alone story. And she would rather let me rot than admit that she stood on my broken back to reach the top. That realization did not make me angry. It made me clear. Clear like glass. And glass can cut. The discovery came from a young woman named Chloe. She was a paralegal at a small law firm in Manchester. She was also my neighbor's niece. She heard my story over tea one Sunday. She asked me one question. Do you have any evidence at all? Any text, any email, any witness? I showed her the napkin. The one from the pub. Patsy had written I promised to pay Diane back 100k pounds within 5 years, with 5% interest. Signed Patricia Anmore. Dated 15 March 2008. Chloe looked at the napkin. She smiled. This is not nothing, she said. A written promise signed and dated. That is evidence. It's not a formal contract, but it's something. Then she asked another question. Did anyone else see her write this? I thought hard. Then I remembered. Our cousin Brenda. She was at the pub that night. She saw Patsy write the napkin. She even made a joke about it. Better frame that, Diane. It's the only promise Patsy ever kept. I called Brenda. She was 68 and living in a caravan in Wales. She remembered everything. Of course, I remember, she said. Patsy was drunk. She was showing off. But she wrote it. I saw her write it with my own eyes. Chloe asked if Brenda would sign an affidavit. Brenda said yes. She said I'm old. I don't care about Patsy's feelings anymore. She stopped visiting me too. That was the turning point. I had a witness. I had a document. I had a law student who wanted to help pro bono because she believed in small justice. I did not tell Patsy any of this. I let her keep posting her holiday photos. I let her keep giving her self-made speeches. I let her think I was just the crazy old sister with the cane and the moldy room. Because I knew something she didn't. The napkin was coming back to life. Chloe helped me file a claim in small claims court. Not for the full amount. Just for the original £100,000. No interest. No legal fees. Just my money. The money I had mortgaged my mother's house for. I had to do 3 things. First, I had to prove the money was a loan, not a gift. Second, I had to prove Patsy had acknowledged the debt. Third, I had to prove she had the ability to pay. The napkin proved the first. Brenda's affidavit proved the second. Public property records proved the third. Patsy owned 17 properties in Greater Manchester. Her house in Cheshire was worth £1.2 million. She had the money. She just did not want to give it. I did not hire a fancy lawyer. I could not afford one. Chloe helped me fill out the forms. I filed them myself at the courthouse. The clerk was a kind woman named Margaret. She looked at my cane and my coat from Goodwill, and she said quietly, "Good luck, love. You deserve it." I waited 3 months for a court date. During those months, Patsy sent me a text. A single text. "What are you doing, Diane?" I did not reply. She sent another. "You are embarrassing the family." I did not reply. She sent a third. "Simon says you have no case. I will countersue for legal costs." I replied with one word, "Okay." I practiced what I would say in court. I stood in my tiny room and spoke to the mold on the wall. I told the truth. Simple and flat and quiet. I worked, I gave. She promised. She forgot, she has. I did not rehearse anger. I did not rehearse tears. I just rehearsed the numbers. The years. The receipts. The napkin. Chloe said the judge would decide based on credibility. Who seemed honest. Who seemed fair. I said I am not trying to seem honest. I am just trying to be. The court date arrived faster than I expected. It was a Tuesday in December. The same December rain. The same courthouse steps. The same Goodwill coat. Patsy arrived with Simon and a lawyer named Mr. Harrington, who wore a suit that cost more than my entire room. She did not look at me. She walked past like I was furniture. The judge was a woman named Patel. She had kind eyes and a quiet voice. She asked me to speak first. I stood up. I held the napkin in my hand. It was wrinkled and stained with old tea. I told the truth. I said I worked at a biscuit factory, a nursing home, a hotel, laundry. I said I mortgaged my mother's house. I said Patsy promised to pay me back in 5 years. I said that was 16 years ago. I said I need hip surgery. I said I sleep on a mattress with mold. I said she has 17 properties. I said that is all. I sat down. Mr. Harrington stood up. He said this napkin is not a legally binding document. He said my client was young and naive when she wrote it. He said Miss Moore, the older sister, is clearly bitter about her own life choices. He said this is a family dispute, not a financial one. Then Patsy spoke. The judge asked her directly, "Did you or did you not promise to repay your sister?" Patsy took a deep breath. She looked at me. Her eyes were cold. She said I was young. I was scared. Diane was always pressuring me to be successful. She made me feel like I owed her something. So I wrote whatever she wanted to keep her happy. But it was never real. It was just a sister trying to calm down another sister. The courtroom was silent. I could hear the rain on the window. Then Judge Patel spoke. She said, "Miss Moore the younger, I have reviewed the napkin. I have reviewed the affidavit from your cousin. I have reviewed your property records. You are a wealthy woman. Your sister is not. She helped you build your life. You promised to repay her. You did not. That is not a family dispute. That is a broken promise with paper evidence. She ruled in my favor. £100,000 plus court costs. To be paid within 90 days. Patsy's face went white. Simon put his hand on her arm. She stood up. She walked out. She did not look at me, not once, Mr. Harrington stopped me in the hallway. He said quietly, "She will pay. But she will never forgive you." I said I don't need her forgiveness. I just need my hip. Patsy paid on the 89th day. A bank transfer, no note, no call. No apology. Just the money. Cold and clean and silent. I got the surgery. My hip works now. I walk without a cane. I bought a small flat in a quiet town. Not fancy. Just mine, no mold. No shared bathroom. Just a front door I lock at night and open in the morning. Patsy and I do not speak. She sold one of her properties to cover the payment. I know because Chloe told me. She also stopped posting holiday photos for a while. Then she started again. Barbados, Dubai, a yacht. Life went on. I do not hate her. Hate is too heavy for my new hip. I just feel tired when I think of her. Tired and old and a little sad. Not for me, for her. Because she had a sister who would have given her anything. And she turned that sister into a lawsuit. That is a lonely way to be rich. The lesson I learned is simple. Love is not alone. But alone is not a gift. You are not a bad person for asking for your money back from someone who promised to return it. Family does not mean free. Family means honest. And if they cannot be honest, they cannot be family. I kept the napkin. It is in a frame now. On my wall. Not for revenge. For memory. So I never forget that a promise written on a napkin is still a promise. And a sister who keeps her word is worth more than a sister who keeps her properties. If you have ever lent money to family and been called obsessed, hit like and subscribe. This channel shares real-life stories about family drama and quiet justice. No yelling. No fake endings. Just the truth. Share this with someone who needs to hear they are not alone.